Whoops. All right. It's time for the off night. Trying to keep that going. Here we go. That's my theme. All right. Enough of that. Okay. No guests, no theme music. It's the off night. And I guess everybody's off tonight. Usually we have guests with us, but I don't see anybody right now. I'll do what I can, if I can. I was hoping we'd have a few people here that I could go off and do other things while they chatted, but that happens. We'll wait to see if anybody else shows up. Let me see. Let me start with Susan's poem. This is a poem that my wife writes every week. This one's a short and sweet poem, but let's start it off that way. What's in the news in the world today? Russia's trying to take Ukraine away. Poland leaves strollers for Ukrainians fleeing. Russia targets civilians. That's what we're seeing. Wildfires are burning in Florida now. Gasoline prices are very high. Wow. The world's a mess, but I digress. Let's have some fun. This poem is done. Now, that's about the shortest poem that Susan's ever done for us, and she did tell me that she did it on her phone, so as she claims, she actually phoned it in. So there we are with that. Let's see if I may have screwed up on the invitations today, so I hope some people show up. If not, this will be a very shortened version. Here we go. Here's my co-host and side Andy Jensen.
Sorry, I'm a little late here, so
yeah, I had to do the intro without you.
Well, I appreciate that. I was on the road.
I can get it. Got a gig.
Got a gig, man.
You got a gig.
Rolling. So
I haven't heard from Sam. So I don't know but I did. We did you're sideways. I don't know.
I can tell. I'm just trying to see if this will straighten out or not. Probably won't.
Oh, will it flip on its own? You mean? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see. What's new with you?
Just finished the play.
Yeah, still running, or is it?
It's done. It's done.
Ended its run. All right.
It's ended its run. Thank God. I mean, it's been a 4-month marathon with this thing, and we started in November. And the reason we did that was because I had anticipated I'd be doing Santa Claus. And then when I found out they weren't, putting masks on the kids and Santa Claus wasn't going to be masked, I decided I wasn't going to do Santa Claus. So we cast them like in November, and that's pretty lengthy time for this to take place. So they've been working on this since from November all the way till now, end of February.
Okay.
And it went really well. The cast was really good, but I think this is the last play I'm going to direct.
So this is your You're announcing your retirement from.
I'm announcing my retirement at this point because it's like it just takes so much effort to put up I read the script. That was a big problem. If you read the script, you go, "This is really good writing."
Yeah,
I think this is a really good show. I think this would be great.
This would be easy. The writing is so good. This should be easy.
It should be easy, And then it's like, for comics, we just get up there and read the stuff, or we do the jokes, and that's what we're really interested in.
Right.
Actors and everybody else, it's like you have this whole level of like, you've got to build the set, you've got to get the costumes, you've got to do the rehearsal. It's like a 6-month rehearsal. It's like, what? Just tell the jokes. It's like, can't we just do this as a reader's theater or something?
Yeah, there's film directors. I don't know about theatrical directors, but like Ron Shelton and Steve Soderbergh, and they use a lot of comics. And
Hmm.
I think the reason they do that is because comics are the least what do you call it, the lowest maintenance
Yeah.
people on their entire crew. It's kind of like, we changed everything that we planned on for the last 3 months, and here are the changes. Oh, okay, whatever.
Okay. All right. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go.
Pays the same, isn't it? Oh yeah, you'll get paid the same. Oh, all right, well,
All right.
whatever.
That's good. As long as it pays the same, we're okay. Wait a
Exactly.
minute. I'm supposed to be naked inside a buffalo behind. As long as
Yeah.
it pays the same, that's fine. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm trying to understand your strategy. I don't really care about your vision, but as long as I get paid, we're good.
Well, I'm sorry that you're like, maybe something else will come along. I don't know. Anyway, a couple
Yeah.
of things.
But you say that after every show, you say this is the last one I'm
This is
doing.
the last one.
Then,
I swear. And then you always have to add the I swear. I swear this is the last
I
one.
swear it's the last one I'm doing. Then you read another script and go, oh, this would be great.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at this script. Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is
We
great.
can do that. We can. Oh, this practically directs itself.
Exactly. This will be easy. There's hardly any set. It's like
Now wait a minute. Now as the director, how much of the producer's role did you have to take? Because it is a small company, right?
yeah, small company. Well, that's
Because
the thing.
when you think of professional directors, you think all they have to do is direct.
Yeah.
The producer takes care of the hiring the set designer and all the other business aspects of it.
Exactly. Wow. And because this is a company, it's a small company, they do actually have a producer.
Oh, okay.
Each group will get a producer, but I had a producer that sort of took off halfway through the show because she was already set up to be on vacation in like Sedona. So I go, okay. So we did as much of the stuff early, like in December and November, to set up the design of the set, all the stuff that we normally do, closer to the production. But so I had a good set designer, I had a good stuff, but I didn't. She kept on me to get an assistant director, and essentially the only thing the assistant director does, at least in my version, is ride book while the actors are learning their script.
Right.
So if the actor makes a call out, they'll ask, give me the line. And as a director, I'm trying to watch the show and not have to read the book. So that way you can kind of figure out physical stuff. Maybe you should move back, do the blocking and all that stuff. And it's nice to have somebody just writing the book so you can watch that. Right. And if you're with your nose in a book, you're seeing nothing on stage. So
yeah, bummer.
But
had this show been produced anywhere else before?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's basically it's a Jeeves and Wooster thing. So it's taken from the stories of P.G. Wodehouse, and they were also some of the stories you saw with Fry and Laurie when they did the production on PBS back in the early 2000s, and so they found these scripts. So the scripts are basically one is G's at Sea, and that's been produced in Chicago. Many of the local comedy places have produced it, and G's Intervenes has also been circulating, making the circle. But it's about a G's and his person he's taking care of, which is a rich guy, and it's about class. The smarter guy is a servant. The dumber guy is the wealthy landowner, wealthy owner. So. Right.
Well, that was a very common theme in stage plays and films back before World War II. Everything kind of everything kind of changed after World War II, and we had a few of these. They became known as comedy of not comedy of errors. What did they call them?
Comedy of manners.
Yes, that was it. Comedy of manners.
Hey, I have an education. I finally it comes ahead. Boom! Comedy of manners, man. Boom, boom.
And me at my advanced age. Oh, I'm not that advanced. I got hopefully 30 more years because I want to do some travel and stuff. But I have noticed that I'll be looking for a word way longer than I used to. No, and I can laugh about it. My wife has a hard time with it, and her mom had a hard time with it too. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I can do 30 more years with my wife if she turns out like her mom did.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I thought her dad kind of faked.
Fake senility, so he'd be left alone.
Yeah, he faked dementia so that he could just be left alone. But with
Just
mom
watch TV.
Exactly, mom getting all upset because she couldn't remember names or words or directions or something. Oh,
Did you do a little drool just to make it believable?
Yes. Oh. Are there any good regional theaters around here? Because I know when I think you got New York, you got Chicago, you got LA. I think there's like a condo circuit down in Florida.
Yeah.
I would think that Texas has a little bit just because they're so big, and San Francisco has sort of an avant-garde type of almost street theater type thing, but they do house some of their things. And San Diego has a regional theater that I know of because I lived in San Diego for a while. And Louisville, I've heard a lot of stuff has been run first in Louisville because they have a community that supports them. Mm-hmm. And so, I wrote this play. Nobody wants to put it on Broadway. I'll put it in Louisville. Then when it catches on, somebody will be interested in putting it in New York or Chicago or something.
Well, so Detroit.
I just wondered if there's anything like. Well, I know Detroit's got the Nederlanders, but in the Fisher Theater, but that's usually, that gives us the first crack at the shows. We got the first crack at Hamilton. Yeah. So rather than having to go, everybody in Detroit gets, because we have the Nederlanders in Detroit.
Yeah.
Everything that plays in Broadway that's a hit comes here first. So that's kind of nice, but it doesn't really develop any new artists.
The Detroit also has the roller derby, so that's the women's roller derby. That's pretty good drama there. So
that is good drama and fiction.
Fiction. All right, so the Purple Rose is actually they do
Purple Rose. I forgot
original
about
works.
Purple Rose. Yep.
They do original works and stuff like that. Now they just recently retired their or fired or whatever you want to call it their artistic director, and they're bringing in new people.
Was there a reason for it, or just that they hadn't been talking? Probably sometimes you get fired for a job like that because people aren't talking about you. You know what I mean?
He's
could be making money. He's being sued.
He's being sued by former actors. It's along because I think of it could be many things, but I think it's mostly about treating women and LGBT community type of issues. So
yeah, well, that's so funny. And during the dojo last night before the Unclub, I was just, somebody else was throwing out some material they were doing about Jesus, and I go, and the line I threw out was, if Jesus came back today, he'd be Me Too'd. And I just thought that was so. I just thought that was so funny. It's totally, it was in the context of what we were talking about. But I thought, in and of itself, that is kind of funny because then it gets people thinking, yeah, maybe,
maybe, yeah, the way he treated women, yeah, true, yeah.
Well, Jesus didn't treat women poorly. He was sort of a radical in his day, the way he treated women. I mean, they were stoning. They were stoning women. He was the one who said, "Whoever has not sinned, cast the first stone."
First stone. That's true.
When they were going to stone, so he was really the feminist of that day. But still, if he came back in 2022, he'd be Me Too'd.
I think so. Let's see what I think. There's another one. There is a theater up in it's on the way to Lansing. Well, there's the Boar's Head, but that's not really original works. They're basically just a theater up there. I think they're actually gone now. Actually.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, through probably my teens, possibly into my 20s, there was a theater in Flint that was essentially a dinner theater, but would put on original productions. I can't remember the name of it now. But
all right, so I'm looking up this place. There's let me put on the glasses. I'm using a map.
For you kids out there, a map is a piece of paper that we would draw.
Roads
roads and landmarks, and we would pull it out and look at it, and it wouldn't change like it does on your phone these days. It's not like
That's right.
Google Maps.
We
So
would.
I still have an old. Remember Thomas Brothers? Were you in L.A. when?
Yes. Oh, those things
Remember
were
the Thomas Brothers?
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have my 1987 Thomas Brothers, 1987 edition of the Thomas Brothers map.
Oh, that's classic. I think I have one somewhere up in what is it?
That's when somebody asks how long you've been doing comedy, I go, I got a Thomas Brothers map. That's how long I've been doing comedy.
Yeah, and the thing is, the Thompson Brothers map, you'd only use like 4 of the maps. Everything you needed to have was 4 maps. So you had to carry this thing around, but everything you wanted was on 4 simple maps.
Yeah. The other thing
you still need the whole thing.
The other thing that ages you, did you have a tone dialer? When you used to, remember we used to have to, if you wanted to use a payphone, and everybody had like an account where like you'd dial MCI or Sprint. Remember that when you had to dial the number, you had to dial like 80 numbers.
Oh yeah, 80 numbers.
And so a lot of time, so you'd buy these phone about, I guess it was more in the 90s than the 80s, but they had these. You would have a tone dial, and you'd hold it up to the mouthpiece of the phone, and then you could pre-program your tones in there, so that you didn't have to dial each time on the page. Did you have one of those at all?
Well, I tell you what, for a period of 3 years, all I had was a pager.
Oh, okay.
All I had was a pager. So, but there was payphones galore all the way around. So basically, they would send me a little information on the pager, text, and so I didn't have to have a home phone. I could just.
You can't find it. You can't find a pager outside of an airport terminal to save your life today.
No, and they're gone, man. They're gone, and then same gone with the wind is the payphone too. You know.
Yeah, well, you know seriously, you can go to Kroger, any Kroger, and you can spend $19.95 and get a burner phone. What they call burner phones, just one of those prepaid things that comes with at least. And if you need to make a call bad enough, buy one of those and make the call. And
you just pay for your minutes, make a call. Exactly. I lived on one of those for a while. Those are actually kept me, it kept me from being overcharged by the phone company quite a bit. But
well, that's like I was trying to explain to my kids the old somebody would call you and say, "Hey, Auntie Bernadette is on the phone. Hurry! It's long distance." Like we had to run across the yard to get to the phone because those few extra seconds were going to put us over into the next minute, and we were charged by the minute. My kids are going, "You get charged by the minute? You got charged for your phone calls?" I go, "Well, yeah. Do you think your phone calls are free? You're on our family plan. You're using our minutes, and because we got like 8 kids in our family plan, so it's like all our minutes are we spend so much that we just buy the unlimited package because you get that many people on it. And then we had to prove that we were all a family because nobody believed that there were 10 of us all in the same house.
Well, it was always like to dial overseas is like what, $14 a minute or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, getting a call from Italy or Ireland where our families are from. Oh man,
exactly. And it was always like you have just 5 minutes. You can speak 5 minutes, and everyone's kind of fast going through whatever they wanted to say. And
yeah, it's Uncle Giuseppe. Get in here.
He barely gets through one sentence. You got to hang up. It's like, oh, bye, Giuseppe. Okay, see you.
Exactly. There was none of that staring at the phone like our kids did. So
no. The dang getting caught in the extension cord, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. We had those 50-foot long cords, so the phone could be used in every room in the house.
Right. Exactly.
The phone was always attached to a wall. The phone was always a central location. Yeah. In our house, the house I grew up in anyway, it was we had a spot where the living room, the kitchen, and the dining room all came together, and there was a hall that went the opposite direction. So all these rooms had doors or entryway, not really doors, but entryways into each of these rooms. And then the other hallway went all the way down to the bedrooms, and that phone cord had to stretch into every single room. Now, eventually, my parents had an extension installed in the basement, so we wouldn't have to run that cord all the way down to the basement. But there was one upstairs and one down. And of course, the basement phone had the same 50-foot cord because you had to go all over the basement too. You might be doing laundry, you might be doing storage or whatever we did in our basement. Our basement in our house, the basement was for the upstairs to stay clean because my parents said, "Go to the basement, just go do all your playing, do all your break your shit in the basement, all your toys that you're going to leave all over the place. We don't want to step on anything upstairs." If we step on anything upstairs, it goes in the basement. If we step on anything downstairs, that's our fault. We shouldn't have been down there. That's your.
There's a scene in Gene Shepard's.
Room.
There's a scene in Gene Shepard's Wanda Kosnowski, where he's dating a Polish girl, and he's going over to their house. It's like there's no lights on upstairs. It's like these people live in the basement. They live in the basement. Well, that's an old Gene Shepard story, short story.
Gene Shepard, I loved his stories. They were great stories.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic writing.
Just
about the theater, Williamston Theater is also
Williamston. That's the name you were thinking.
Williamston.
That's one you were trying to think of. Okay,
that's what I was looking up I was looking for the city on the map.
Yeah, we got off on maps and phones. That's the city. Okay. Right. Let me see. So the Unclub is going pretty well, and we've never done it in a pub. Like we're in the Ipsy Ale House. Which I love because I love craft beer, and they've got so many, and they've got a brewmaster, which, he comes out, he's like the chef in a restaurant. Is everybody doing all right? How are your brews? How did we brew this batch? That type of thing. Yeah. And beer is great. Beer is great for that type of thing because, it's not like wine where it's something like, it aged 8 years or something like, or, 15 or 500 years or whatever. Yeah. It's kind of like, you might have brewed it today or yesterday, or you brewed it yesterday and you chilled it today or whatever.
It's aged 12 hours. Try it. There we go.
And I love that stuff. And I love, one, I feel like, when I'm drinking a Budweiser or a Miller or, any one of those, mass produced ones, I feel like I'm drinking water with some alcohol content. You know what those are good for? Those are good for, it's July. It's 95. Yes. I've just mowed the lawn, and I come inside, and I'm going to take a bottle of ice water or a tall beer, and I'm going to chug it down. When I'm chugging it, they both taste the same. I mean, I'm not drinking slow enough to be able to taste the thing, but the beer is just kind of, for some reason it quenches as much as the water does. And it seems to satisfy because I'll drink water. I want more water. When I drink beer, I don't want more beer. So sometimes that's a good thing.
One's good. That's good. Yeah.
But anyway, the Ale House, they've been a great host. And two of the people that get up, a guy named Ted Badgerow is one of the owners and the brewmaster, and another guy is Spencer Tammany, and Spencer is a bartender there. Okay. And so two of the people that get up are actually an owner and an employee of the place. And so we've really been, and we didn't know how it was going to work because, we've always at either the Mix or the Yellow Barn or the place over on Michigan Avenue, the whatever that art collection, that art museum was. I think it used to.
That was an art collection. That was basically a hoarder. A hoarder using your room. That was a hoarder.
Is that what that? I went by, and I go by it every time I come into town, and it's like, it's such a small place, and I don't remember being that small. But everything was small. I mean, that Yellow Barn was a huge, massive space compared to the. The
Yellow Barn is still going. Yellow Barn is still going strong. We just can't get in there. So.
Well, they gave us a shot. They gave us a year to try to get things going, and it didn't happen. What can I say? But
they need their weekends too. That's where all their theater stuff happens. So.
Sure. Well, on Sunday they didn't bother. They probably gave us a whole year because it was a Sunday night and there wasn't anything else going on.
Yeah.
But we were able to put some things in there. But the Mix was still my favorite. I mean, that was just 30 33 seats max. 25. We sat 25 comfortably. We sat 33 max. It wasn't so comfortable at 33. But that's enough. 25. You think about it. I mean, what I'll go to the. There were nights at the Comedy Castle where there'd be 40 people, and it didn't seem like as many as the 25 that would be at the Mix. Because it was all tight and everything.
Yeah.
But anyways, but at that place we passed the hat, and we didn't really, and we actually had a jar there for people to donate for the beer and wine that we had there.
Mm-hmm. Well, we must remember we were illegally doing that. So
yes. Well, I'm sorry. Allegedly, there was a pass. Allegedly, there was a pass of the hat.
Allegedly, there was alcohol being consumed. Allegedly,
I've heard that there may have been. I can't guarantee it. I can't pronounce it. I can't say that was for sure. I heard there may have been alcohol there. But anyway,
but we're out of there now. We have no connection with that place now. So,
no, but what? Yeah. Exactly. And it's been 5 years since we had any connection to that place.
Yeah. So there, none of what our taint has. We didn't have any taint. That's right.
And by the way, I mean, any recordings or any word of mouth or anything, any connection with the names Mark Sweetman or Andy Jensen, purely coincidental. I mean, we had absolutely nothing to do with that. So
nothing, absolutely nothing.
But anyway, the Ale House. I don't know. Have you been to the Ale House?
Yes. Oh yeah. It's got burgers and stuff. It's
So now you go in the door, the front door off of Pearl Street, and on the left.
I put my poster up in the Ale House. So
okay. So but you go to the left, and that whole room runs along Washington. Mm-hmm. And then the Pearl Street frontage has that long room along Washington, and then on the other side, to the right of the door, is that little sort of dining area. Well, that's what we use for our dojo. We started the dojo up again.
Oh,
and we had a really good one last night. So,
are these all new people, or are these like
the dojo? It was a good mix, and that's what we want the dojo to be. We had 8. We had 4 that have done the dojo before and 4 new people. So it was really nice.
Are you charging or you're not charging?
Well, we're going to charge because,
okay.
I mean, I don't want people to think that I can do this all the time for nothing. But I don't have the credits Chili does. So here's how Chili used to do it. It was, you would pay for his workshop at $250 or his class at $300, and his class was like 6 weeks. And the workshop was like, wherever he was headlining, he would do like Saturday morning from 9 until like 4. So it was like 8 hours, or 4, 9 to 6 hours, whatever it was. And it was sort of like a intense class. The class was more of a week to week type thing, and he didn't do that as much because he was a road comic.
Yeah.
But anyway, once you took that, then you were able to be a part of the dojo, which was $25 every session, and it was 2 or 3 hours, which meant, we're talking anywhere from $8.50 to $12.50 an hour, which I think is reasonable. And he limited it to usually. Occasionally there'd be 10 people there, but often if there were 10 people, he would ask some people to contribute. Like, he wouldn't charge. In other words, he said, it's like he'd say, Mark, you're an old vet. We need your expertise more than your money. So in exchange for that, and like Joe the Animal, right? Joe the Animal would videotape everything for him and give him the video so that he could use them later, because he did some side coaching. And so Joe never got charged anything after a certain amount. Chili just says, look, you've paid more than anybody else. You don't need to pay, as long as you're videotaping, you don't need to pay the per session fee. So now I don't have the credits Chili did. So for me to do this, I'm thinking of maybe doing it as a, either lowering the price, which my wife hates that idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe doing it as creating a consortium where what we would do
Well,
is,
let me put a hold on this. So why don't you have the same credentials as Chili?
oh, I didn't write for the. Well, I wrote for Jay Leno, but I didn't write for the Tonight Show. He got. We both did that. We both did that thing where we fax jokes into him. Remember,
Yeah,
speaking of phone cords,
phone
we would
cords,
we would fax jokes and
fax jokes, and
from the road we would fax jokes to Jay when he was still a guest host. Once he got hired on as a full time host, he hired Chili and brought him out to Los Angeles, and he was on the staff for the show. Chili also wrote for Mother Goose and Grimm, and I don't have that credit. But other than that, I mean, I got everything else Chili's got. So
hey, yeah, that's one other credit. Just you're as good as Chili. I mean, just take the money.
Yeah. But anyway, but one of the things I was thinking of doing is maybe doing like a group thing where we could start buying sound and light equipment and have that for, in other words, people that are members of this dojo could have access to that equipment. So anytime we wanted to start an open mic or a room somewhere, we'd be able to go in and set that up and sort of become essentially a comedy club. We'd be a comedy club without the building,
Yeah.
Maybe have some storage space, which is a lot cheaper than commercial real estate. So yeah, storage space you can get for $50 a month or something like that. So
yeah. So
anyway, just some things to consider based on last night. People are very happy with it.
Okay.
I was
going to ask. So the dojo people are going to be able to get up. Are other comics who don't take the class still going to be able to get up?
Yeah. We'll do it the same way we did before, where the dojoers get first crack at a set. In fact, of the 8, only 6 went up last night. So there were people there that didn't have time. In other words, I'm glad you're doing this at 5:00 because I couldn't be here at 8:00 for the showcase. So, and I told them,
I see.
And now, Claire, do you know Claire over at the Ale House, the general manager?
Yeah.
She's taken over their website from the owner. Not taken over. It was handed to her. And we're going to change the name of it from open mic to showcase because people were coming in and we had too many people on the show already. And I want to be able to say showcase because when you say open mic, everybody comes in thinking, oh, I'll just come in and bring my guitar and sing my song and, la-di-da. But we want to make it a showcase rather than an open mic. But the same deal. I mean, everybody that requests a spot will get it if I have at my discretion. Now I got people now. Unlike the last time when we started this in 2013, when we started in 2013, I guess it's been 9 years. I said 5 years. It's been 9 years since we started this. But when we started in 2013, I didn't have people that could send you a link to a YouTube video. You know what I mean? I mean, there was YouTube around back then. But not everybody was a YouTube producer. Now you got a phone, you can be a YouTube producer. You could be a YouTube influencer. So anyway, I'm getting a lot of that stuff. I said, I'm not even going to watch it. I go, we got 3 spots for this Sunday. Do you want one? Yeah. How much time? I go, we'll do 10 minutes. 10 minutes! All these places, they'll take anybody and like, all right, well, we got 84 performers, so everybody gets a minute and a half. So I'm saying, you know what, we're going to cut it. We're going to stop at 10 and give everybody 9 minutes. How's that sound? No. Oh, thank you. Oh my God, I could have never come up in this era. I'm so glad I came up when I did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So everybody gets 10 minutes?
Yep. Well, nobody,
instead of 5 minutes.
And my rule, exactly. Everybody gets 10 minutes. Well, and this works out great because if they don't take the 10, I go, and here is where you are going to police yourselves. And I rarely had to light anybody. The first guy last night, I had to give him a light because he went a little bit long. But everybody else, I say, look, I go, here's how you're going to police yourself. If you suck, it's going to be hard to get another spot here because I got a waiting list that's twice as long as the list that's going up. So here's what you do. If you're funny as hell, take 15 minutes. I don't care. because what's going to happen is the people that aren't that funny start bailing after 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So it all worked. You know what I mean? It really all worked out, and the crowd likes it too because the crowd wants to see a funny show. If the funny guy goes 15 minutes, I don't care. As long as the unfunny people are bailing out at 3, I mean that works out perfectly.
I see.
And so far the people have been policing themselves pretty well. That's a good idea anyway. I mean, one of the things that we talk about in the dojo is learning how the tricks that there are for timing yourself. If you haven't figured out what your bits are and how long each of your bits are and chunks that you would do and this and that, and you haven't figured out how much that is, and you make sure you have a closing bit so that when they give you the 2-minute light, you can stop whatever you're into or finish up whatever you're into and do that 2-minute bit so that you're off in your time. What you don't want to do is.
So are you giving them the light if they're bad?
No, I haven't had to yet, but I will. I have not had. If we have had comics that didn't have 10 minutes, and I said, don't do 10 minutes just because I gave you 10 minutes. I go, I'm giving you 10 minutes. There's no sin in coming off early. I go, get your big. I'm more concerned that you guys get your big laugh. And there's one. A lot of them have never worked at a place or an open mic where anybody gives a shit about the show. You know what I mean? They just, they're just like, we're doing this because we're selling beer, and these people, these disillusioned artists are the best drinkers. they're the biggest. They're the biggest drunks.
They're the biggest drunks out there.
They had a dream one time. We're just letting them live this undream. We're letting them live this undream a little bit longer because they drink. But anyway,
got it.
But when it becomes a problem, that's when I take care of it. It's like everything else. It's like that's another thing that happened to me this week. I'm an administrator on one of the Facebook pages that deals with comedy. It's called Michigan Comedy Lovers. Well, I'm an administrator on Detroit Comedians and Comedy Fans. I'm an administrator on the Unclub page. I'm an administrator on Chili's Dojo page. I'm an administrator on. There's a bunch of it. And this is one, Todd Starks, who did. Do you remember Club Bart?
Yes.
Todd Stark. He was a young kid when they did it because it was his family that owned Club Bart. But so he's been in the comedy. He just asked me to come along because I knew people that he didn't know. He only knew those comics that started like in 97, 98, that era and on. And I knew them back in the 70s. So he asked me to come on to be part of that. And we did, you know what? And I don't even know if he's part of that page anymore, but I've been an administrator. And basically what I do is I look for people that are putting shoe or sunglasses ads on the thing. I mean, I don't really quiz everybody as to whether they should be on the page or not. And so recently there've been people that have been contacting me. Are you the administrator of this page? Have you seen this guy? Some stuff that he's posting. And actually, it's not something that I really think is that offensive or that horrible that he needs to be blocked from. There's a guy, he goes by the name of Rich Hutchinson, and some people are saying that they think it's somebody else using this as a false flag to try to gaslight people. But he goes on and he said, they decided about probably in January. He says, look, I got my act together now. I know I haven't done any stage time yet, but my girlfriend says I really shouldn't go out there without charging. So my rates are going to be $2,500 to headline, $800 to middle, and I'll do an opening or MC for $500. And of course, everybody thinks this is a joke, but people got really upset about it. And they go, who's the moderator? Who's the administrator of this page? Does anybody even watch this crap? And, So I answered, I says, look, I said, listen, here's how I got involved with this thing. But if you want rules, we can make rules. We've never had rules. We've never had a problem. We didn't, people have been, one, as far as I can see, the only thing you can accuse him of being is an asshole. He doesn't have anything dangerous to go, it's your engagement that he wants, because those engagements he gets makes his profile look like here's somebody that and he might just be, trolling you in order to get his Facebook status up, and maybe, when he starts creating a page, he'll get, more hits that way. I said, it's, if you don't want to play the game, just don't play the game. But I mean, he's saying some goofy shit, but it's more entertaining than hurtful. So anyway, so that's, and that, like I said, like the Unclub show, until there's a problem, I don't do anything about it. Like this page, I really haven't done anything about it. Now the other one, because we had no rules, let anybody join that wanted to join. People could just click on, accept their application. We didn't see that they were a page joining or a personal page joining or a business joining. We didn't pay attention. Now, the other page that I'm actively involved in administrating is Detroit Comedians and Comedy Fans, and then we have rules for that. When you get on, you say, are you a Detroit comedian? Are you within an hour's drive of Detroit? Do you plan on doing shows? Blah 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 blah. You pass all these questions, boom, you're on. And then they have rules once they get on, posting rules. In other words, you have to post about Detroit comedy. Okay, if it's a former Detroit, if it's not a comic that lives within an hour's drive of Detroit, make sure he has some relationship to Detroit comedy. Did he play there in the last year? Is he going to come up? Is he going to do a gig in the next few months? In other words, relate him to Detroit or her to Detroit somehow for this posting. I don't want to, somebody's doing postings about how, well, we're helping artists get into real estate. I go, that really sounds like a realty type posting. You're trying to sell your real estate business. Yeah, but we help comics get it. I go, not for our page. You know what I mean? So it's not about, that posting isn't about comics, and I had this woman argue with him, but I'm trying to get comics into houses. I go, that's really not a concern for comics. The comics that have houses have houses. The comics that don't have houses can't have houses because they're trying to be comics. And, they're going to struggle for a while before they can afford a house. And I know, because I've been there. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm looking at the post, I hit remove, and then when you hit, and Facebook, if you're an administrator, when you hit remove on a post, it gives you the list of rules, and then you can check off the ones that they broke, which I really like. Because then I'm not writing anything. I'm just saying, all right, I'll check that one. I'll check that one. Anybody that posts a video on that page, I ask that each video be less than a minute, or if it needs to be more than a minute, give an explanation as to why it's more than a minute and how it relates to Detroit comedy. So then somebody has to actually, it's not a bot that's putting this thing on here. It's an actual person that's doing it. Some of the other rules, the usual stuff, no meanness, no striking out at anybody, no, insults, things like that. There's other, I can't remember what they all are, but whenever I remove a post, those rules come up and there's little check boxes next to them. I get to check off which one, so I don't have to write a bunch of shit, But then, now we didn't have it, but that's one heavily redacted and heavily administered. I mean, we watched that pretty well. I mean, I'm not the only administrator on it. And then there's the other one that I'm getting complaints about because we never, it's been up 10 years. 10 years, we've never had a problem. Nobody complains about anything. Everybody just kind of just floating along. And then one guy says to me, so I put up a posting today and says, how about you tell me what rules you think we should have? And we'll discuss them and we'll decide. And one guy says, well, maybe you should just make it a professional, what do you call it? A professional networking, or a way for comics to interchange ideas. And I says, well, that's a good idea, but we've already got Michigan Comics Network. I go, how would this be different than that? The guy goes, oh, I'm new, I don't know.
I'm new. I don't know.
I'm new, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So, and
yeah. Well, it sounds interesting. Sounds like sort of like a Bees comedy, kind of a Bees comedy kitchen in Ypsi, sort of like,
Yeah, I like that idea. In fact, I'm the administrator of the Bees Comedy Kitchen page now because, there is no Bees Comedy Kitchen. It got torn down and made a parking lot about 6 years ago.
Wow. But there's angst hanging over that parking lot. I hear that, people pull in there. People pull in there and they keep hearing voices yelling at them. Get off the tarmac. Get off the tarmac. Get out of my lot. That's my spot. Get out of here. That's all I got. I was just
that's all I got. I'm done.
That's all I got. I'm just kind of improvising. Just kind of improvising. I'm playing with the wire. That's it. Okay.
So anyway, so now we got that front room, and they're gonna. I guess we ordered enough meals there yesterday that they're giving us that room, and that's going to be kind of nice because that's separate from the rest of the. It's separated from the because they have before our show on Sunday night they have a trivia contest, which gives us a great lead-in audience. I mean, we start that show. It's not just a bunch of like the old days in the mix where have maybe 5 people at most were non-comics. You know what I mean, and usually friends of them. We've actually got people at the beginning of that show at 8:00 that are civilians, and really making comics laugh is a completely different animal than making civilians laugh.
Oh yeah, it's biting the head off a chicken.
Nobody makes a living making comics laugh. Trust me.
Exactly. It's like if you hear laughter in the back of the room and nothing in the front, you're all your
you're eating it in that.
Yes,
case, so.
Your jokes are bad. There we go.
Anyway, so let's see what else is going on. I'm trying to think if we got any. I cried for sadness for the first time in a long time. I cry a lot now, and I'm trying to explain to my kids, look. When you get older, you cry when you're happy, know, and when you're young, you cry when you're sad or upset. And so I haven't cried for being unhappy, but some of these stories out of Ukraine where these civilians getting biffed by the Russians, and it's not the Russian people. The Russian people don't know about it because Ukrainians and Russians are like Canadians and Americans. You know what I mean?
No. I'm gonna go with this. They're like Ohio and Michigan. It's like Michigan invaded Ohio. That's what is happening here.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's no reason to do it.
Yeah.
There was absolutely not. I mean, why couldn't what was it about Ukraine that Russia could not diplomatically get what they wanted from them?
Nothing. This is all in Putin's head. He wants to rebuild the Soviet Union. And
you really think that's what it is?
Idea.
Because I tell you what, that is such a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
If I could see now, I could understand if it was just Ukraine because it's like a breadbasket.
Yeah,
I mean they although Russia's got a lot of land and it's not all in Siberia, so they could have. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't cultivate their other land for food growth. But Ukraine does supply a lot of food. For Europe and Asia. I mean, it's just a very fertile area.
Yeah. Well, they're also embracing the Western philosophy, and it's like for some reason.
And why is
Russians?
Do we see Russia not embracing the Western philosophy?
No. They're trying to do what China's doing, and China did basically turning their entire city and their entire country into a corporation.
Yeah, and
that's what China did.
I remember when it first started happening, everybody says, Russia is giving everybody free speech and China is giving everybody a free economy. So Russia tries to control the economy and China tries to control the speech. And Russia is seeing where they made a huge freaking mistake because China is kicking ass. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, I don't really see free speech in Russia right now.
Not now. You don't. Now you don't, but when Gorbachev first took down the wall, when they took down the wall and everything, people could say whatever they want. It's only since Putin got back in, and China was already ahead of them by the time. I mean, Putin's been in 20 years, but you got to remember, they're right on the border with China, and the writing was on the wall that the country that was doing better was China.
Yeah,
and Russia. Russia can give us all the gymnasts and ice skaters they want. It's not going to help. It's not going to help every Russian. It's only going to help those.
Yeah. But Russia has the same problem the United States has. The entire middle class of China is the population of Russia or the United States. So 600 million people is just the middle class of China.
Well, they did it right. I mean, you got to keep a middle class. I mean, and too bad we can't get Americans to figure that out. You gotta.
Well, there you go. It's like, but I mean, the other problem with Russia is that we didn't do them a good service by just letting these corporations go after them, without any
Well, it
sort of
wasn't even,
regulation.
I tell you what, it wasn't even the corporations. I mean, we were not there helping when the hoodlums, when the mafiosos took over. Basically,
Yeah,
I mean, the Russian organized crime and China cracks down on that crap.
yeah.
It's kind of like, all right, you're a business in China. Well, have you had the party look at your business? What do they think of your business? You know what I mean? It's kind of like here,
Well,
everybody.
you gotta look at it too. Is China was never had its country demolished.
No, that's true.
The Russians, and they weren't fighting this Cold War with us. So they expended all of their resources in doing that. So
Yeah, and Reagan knew that. That's why he did the.
yeah,
That's why he did that. That was his plan.
tell Gorbachev to tear down that wall.
Tear down that wall.
Tear down that wall. Yeah, well, Nancy and me are using the Zodiac to figure out what we're doing next. Okay.
And you know what? I was so offended by that until Trump came along. Now I just feel like what a simpler time that was. They used the Zodiac.
Each succeeding Republican president shocked us. We thought Bush was the apocalypse.
Yes.
Then Bush was just the foot guy. He was just the foot guy.
I know. Yeah. You think I'm getting to the point where I'd probably introduce Nixon to my daughters?
Yeah, Nixon wasn't such a bad guy. At least he knew what he was doing. Come on, Nixon. How you doing? You look very lovely on that.
Nick, you know what Nixon's crime was? He trusted his advisors that tried to get him to avoid any association with the crimes. He should have just come out and said, "Oh, yeah, right when it happened. Oh, they're gone. Those people are gone, and we'll do whatever we have to make ourselves right with the people."
Yeah,
but he didn't do that because it was an election year, so he didn't do that because he wanted to win re-election.
He's talking to Haldeman. What should we do?
Haldeman, Ehrlichman,
Haldeman,
John Mitchell.
If we haven't lost our audience yet, we have lost him right now. It's like I don't know what the hell they're talking about. 1968. Thank you. Okay. But
yeah, man.
No, I just to get back to your thing is this. I have no idea why the Russians would think that this is a good idea, and Putin has gone through this whole history. He's using history to say that there is no Ukrainian nation. They're just extensions of us. They're our brothers or something like that. So he's basically saying that there is no legitimacy to the Ukrainians being a nation of their own. I would say you would ask the Ukrainians, and they would probably say, "I don't believe that's right."
I would say that because of how fiercely they're fighting back, that I think Ukrainians think themselves as different than Russian.
Yeah, I would say so too, and I just find it interesting that there's some of the Ukrainians have taken in some of the soldiers, some Russian soldiers, and given them a phone to call their folks to tell them what's happening. And that's getting information back to the population, because they think they're just here on a training thing. The whole group thought they were just here for training. They didn't realize they were going to invade the country of.
Yeah, maybe they're still telling me it's a training mission.
Yeah, this is a training. Really? And it's like, but now it's like there's actually people that they know in the country. It's not like it's not like they're going into.
You're right. It's like Michigan
invading.
You're right. It's like Michigan invading Ohio. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's like imagine the U of M football team invading Ohio State. But that happens every year. Anyway,
it'll be like Washington and Oregon going, everybody confuses us anyway. Why don't we just
exactly.
why don't we just take over Oregon?
North Dakota, South Dakota. Really? Couldn't you just stay as Dakota? Do you have to be North, South? Who cares?
You know who hates that? Who hates that is Bill Maher. Oh, he hates that South Dakota. He says we've got. I think he said we've got 800 times as many people in California as they do in North and South Dakota. Yet they got 2 more senators than we have.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's the big issue lately. It's like all these small countries, I should say countries, states, all these small states have like, and that's true. The population of North Dakota is maybe 200,000 people, but they get 2 senators and a
Four
congressman.
senators because there's 2 Dakotas, they get 4 senators.
Exactly.
That's
But
almost 10%. That's almost 10%. That's a swing. That's a swing right
yeah,
there.
well, think about New York. It only gets 2 senators, but they have what, half the population almost of the United States.
Well, that's why the Republicans don't want D.C. and Puerto Rico as states.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it, there's more of a reason for Puerto Rico to be a state than there was for Hawaii back in
1958.
1959,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
even Alaska. Most of the people in Alaska were indigenous back when
Yes.
Alaska became a state, and same with Hawaii. And so people are saying, well, people that don't want Puerto Rico to be a state are using the arguments, well, they're not really Americans, but that's racist argument anyway, because those are the people that think white people are Americans. To which the American
Mm-hmm.
Indians go, clearing their throats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of going back where you came from, yeah.
Oh, the British won't let us back in anyway. So anyway, so yeah, so that's kind of the issue. I don't know. I don't know where this is going to end. I just uh, I know they're getting more armaments. There's no real peace negotiation going on. So I just hope they can hold out. I was hopefully I was thinking this would be like the 7 Day War in Israel versus the Arab nations back in 68, 67. There's like
Uh-huh.
just a series of days, not an extension beyond that. But I guess we can't hope for that now.
I don't know. The only thing I worry about was with Putin are the nuclear weapons.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's
He,
he's wacko.
he is crazy. So I mean, and I don't know.
So
Are we set up to thwart any that he sends this way? I mean, because what's
well,
going to happen?
he's got brand new nukes. He's got a whole series of brand new nukes.
Oh, great. Well, the other
He's
thing
got
is he's got if he bombs anywhere west of him, doesn't the wind blow to the east like it does here in this hemisphere?
yeah. I don't think he realizes
So why would you?
they already hit a nuclear plant in Ukraine.
Right.
With a bomb. So it's like, what are you guys thinking about? It's like, are you trying to create another Chernobyl? And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Putin's crazy. I just don't know what he didn't think that they were going to fight. I think that's the issue.
I think you're right. I think that's what happened.
And I
And
think that
I'm sure he didn't think that I'm sure he thought he was going to have more allies in the world, in the world community. I mean, the UN resolution, China didn't even vote with it. I mean, he had Syria. Was it Syria? Yeah, Syria, Belarus. Belarus is practically Soviet anyway. Still,
yeah.
Syria, Belarus, North Korea, naturally,
Mm-hmm.
and one other one, a country I'd never even heard of before. One I couldn't pronounce. I mean, it was like it went by so quickly I didn't have time to write it down. So
Uzbekistan.
yeah, no, it wasn't one of the stands.
Okay.
So, but anyway, they there were only 5, and of course Russia was one of the 5 that voted against sanctions against themselves. So
Yeah. So I mean, it's a yeah. I mean, he just misgauged. He also thought he had the NATO alliance, almost breaking up.
yeah,
But it's like he couldn't. He's just that's the thing too. It's like if one of those stray bombs, hits one of the Poland or any of that, all of the signers of the NATO are there. It's like 25 nations now are signed on.
yeah, but what else? What can we do?
I
What can, other than bomb the shit out of them? You know, and who
No,
wants
it's just
that? Who wants that? They just kind of look. They're going to get so far. They're going to say, "Look, this is what we got," and
well, the
why
thing is
why are we
this.
gonna why are we gonna do this to each other?
I don't know. I think they just gotta really arm up, keep give a steady supply to Ukrainians to be able to thwart the tanks, and the ability for a no-fly zone may be something too. So, are we closing out?
Yeah, we're coming up on an hour, so I got my.
Hey, we did an hour.
We did an hour. We did an hour,
and we were winging it. We were just
and we did. Yeah,
we can.
And you know what? We didn't really overtalk anything. We covered topics, and we talked about things that are going on. And good job, my friend. Good job.
Hey,
let's do it again next week. Hey, I really want to get this earlier on Mondays, but it's probably not going to be again. It's probably not going to be again this month. I got so many other things going on.
Okay, so I can't sign up for next week because I'm doing a sleep study.
Oh,
so I'm getting all my wires put on me like an astronaut, and I got to go to sleep.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you the week after that. Then hopefully I can wake one of our guests up and get them in here.
Exactly.
Sammy should do the sleep studies. He's the one. He always misses this when he falls asleep. But I give him a break because he's in chemo. It's hard on him.
Yeah. Well, next time you see me, I have this thing around my nose, breathing oxygen.
A CPAP machine or something.
A CPAP machine.
All right, that's it. I'm gonna bring up the music and let you go. We'll see you in a couple weeks then. Talk to you later.